There are many reasons to learn English. Maybe you need it for school or work. Maybe you have a test coming up, or you just want to be able to do day-to-day things in English. Whatever your reason for learning English, I always have 3 rules that I give to each student that starts learning English with me. In today's video, let's talk about my 3 rules for learning English and how you can apply them. I hope you find them helpful. Also, maybe you have your own rules. Leave those down in the comments. I really like to check them out. Are you guys ready to find out my 3 rules for learning English? If so, then let's get into it. There are so many things you have to think about when it comes to learning English. Are you going to practice listening, speaking, writing, or reading? Before you do any of these things, one of the most important things you should remember is to try. Try everything. If you are taking part in an English language class, make sure that you participate. You can't improve if you just sit back and listen to everyone else speak. If you are learning on your own, think about a few of the things that you learned and actually try to put them in practice. For example, if you're watching YouTube videos, how about take a few of the concepts that you learned, try them out on real people and real situations. The more that you try, the more chances you will have to get better, and you'll become comfortable in different situations using English. We have a phrase in English called practice makes perfect. And this just means that the more that you do something, the more comfortable you will be doing that thing. So try as often as possible and try as many different things as possible in English. If you don't try, you won't get better. And this is going to take us to my number 2 rule. It's okay to make a mistake. English is not your first language, so you shouldn't expect to be perfect. If you are perfect, then you probably don't need to study in the first place. So think about this when you're trying out what you learned in English. As adults, we want to be really good at something before we get out there and embarrass ourselves in front of strangers. You will save yourself embarrassment by not making any mistakes, but if you're not making any mistakes, it probably means that you're just not trying as often as you should be. As long as I've lived in Japan, I've made so many mistakes in Japanese over the years. When I first came here, I felt like I was a child all over again because simple things that I took for granted when I was back home, I had to relearn it all over again. But I started to notice that once I made a mistake, after getting over that initial embarrassment, I would never make that same mistake again. Little by little, through trial and error, you can start to find out what works for you and what doesn't work. Think to yourself, what is the worst thing that could happen? Unless you are in a life or death situation, that mistake that you make today probably won't hurt you. You will also start to see that most people are willing to help those that they see are trying to learn the language. Maybe your friends or a teacher will correct you. Also, just by listening and talking to other people, you can start to see how your mistakes stack up to their correct English, and this is going to help you get better as well. So put yourself in as many situations as possible to make mistakes so that you can improve your English in the long run. The last thing that I want to talk about today is enjoying yourself when you're studying English. Like I said before, there are many reasons to learn English. Maybe you want to pass a test, maybe you want to travel abroad. Are you going to live in an English-speaking country? Or maybe you just have lots of opportunities to listen and speak with native speakers. Whatever your reason for learning English, unless you are being forced into learning something, you will learn much better when you enjoy what you do. Think of something that you really enjoy outside of English. Do you feel scared or nervous when you start to think about it? For me, I like basketball. I can watch it any time of the day if I'm free. You don't have to force me into it. It's something that I really enjoy, so I happily participate. How about thinking about English in the same way? Maybe you can do a cooking class in English. If you have movies or books that you are interested in, maybe you can find some way to make English a part of it. If you think of English as something that isn't enjoyable, it's going to be much harder to continue when you have tough times. I have had students, for example, that weren't interested at all when it comes to grammar or things like this, but If I was to talk about California or the differences between school life in Japan and in the US, all ears, and they're happy to try as much English as they know and as many times as possible. So find something that makes English enjoyable for you and then hold on to it. I hope these 3 rules give you some ideas about what to do with your English study. If this video gave you any benefit at all, how about share this video with someone else that you think this will help? If you enjoyed this video, how about check out this video right here to see more. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. See you.